Welcome to Modern Lifekeeping, brought to you by Kira Kisses. I'm your host, Lori Christine. So many of us are struggling with toxic families. Family members are some of our first teachers. Will they teach us who we want to be or who we don't want to be? Do they encourage us to embrace our authenticity, or do they bully or otherwise encourage us to conform to their expectations of who they think you should be? The challenge to remain true to yourself is real, particularly when we are surrounded by loved ones who place conditions on their love. The more real this challenge is, the more validation you have that you are being invited to unconditionally love yourself first. Our parents introduce us to this earth. Parents, whether they are biological or not, share their values, perspectives, beliefs, and attitudes with their children. Our parents are the authority on how we will live. Later, extended family, siblings, teachers, and friends may also influence how easily we will align with our best life. There are children who will question the values, perspectives, beliefs, and attitudes of authority. This is often not well received, and for some even results in diagnoses like oppositional defiant disorder. I believe the ability to question authority is a superpower that, when not balanced, can become what looks like opposition, but when balanced can be very powerful. The drive to question, seek understanding, and wonder about the world we live in is an important part of becoming who we are most meant to be. I wonder if those that don't question it are able to reach their highest potential, or perhaps their purpose in life is to conform. Either way, we each have free will to choose the beliefs and values that align with the best version of ourselves. We don't have to embrace beliefs and values just because they are those of our family. We live in a world where we are being shown that we can take nothing for granted. If we are to take nothing for granted, why would we take the values, perspective, beliefs, and attitudes of others for granted? A thriving environment includes questioning, understanding, and working together. Why does there have to be a right or wrong way of doing things? Wouldn't there be a lot less resistance in this world if we could learn to love each other unconditionally and stop judging things to be right or wrong? If you are a person who has questioned the thinking of others, good for you. You are likely working to understand their viewpoint, which might be more than they can or will ever do for you. And you are seeking information so that you can discern your own beliefs and values. To me, you are doing the work required to heal thinking patterns and childhood wounds that no longer serve you. To your family, you may be disrespecting, embarrassing, shaming, or otherwise making them uncomfortable. This demonstrates your role as their teacher. The uncomfortableness they feel is their invitation to love themselves unconditionally. After all, if they loved themselves unconditionally, they would know how to love you unconditionally. But they don't. Many won't do the work. Instead, they will turn those uncomfortable feelings back onto you. To love ourselves unconditionally, we must accept people for who they are, where they are at, and what they are willing to be. Some of us are given families where we simply don't fit in. We are like a miscut piece of the puzzle, except the piece that we are is in its entirety already whole. It isn't missing anything, and it doesn't need to fit in anywhere. This difference in who we are makes us stand out in most families. What does it mean from a practical standpoint when we don't fit in with our families? Well, when we don't fit in, life may feel uncomfortable for us. Maybe our family members will tell us they don't like us, laugh in our face when we tell them our dreams, or blame us for anything that goes wrong. Perhaps we'll be the family scapegoat. Maybe you even make it easy to be the scapegoat. You take one for the team repeatedly. Your mom might keep telling you that you know better, so you have to be better. Before you know it, you are people-pleasing so much there is no time to be present in the moment. But what if your mom was right, but also wrong? Would it prove the point that there is no right or wrong? I think the very belief that there is a right and wrong forms the first seed on the dark side of judgment. The dark side of judgment is an insidious and invasive weed that chokes the very life out of us. The light side of judgment is our ability to discern. The dark side is our out-of-alignment need for good and bad, right and wrong, our need to form an opinion about everything and anything. My mom gave me that advice in the context of being the bigger person. She conditioned me to basically accept bad treatment from my siblings. She validated my feelings, and her advice was solid, and she was teaching me the concept of unconditional love in her own way. I did know better, and it would have been 100 times better for me if I had chosen myself over my family early on instead of waiting until I was half a century old. But I didn't. I got caught up in the idea of unconditional love. I believed I should love my family unconditionally before myself. This is illogical at best. Then I learned to love myself unconditionally. And I still loved my family unconditionally. I just love myself as much as my family, so I don't put their needs before mine. I have boundaries that protect my energy, and the only people I am pleasing is myself. however many that may be. I choose to believe that I am meant to become independent from my family. I am meant to break the ties of codependency that have bound us together since birth. I am meant to break this generational curse and to create a strand of individuality, nonconformity, and unconditional love. If your family hates more than it loves, judges your every move, gossips about you, ignores your needs, sides with others over you, bullies, condescends, blames, guilts or shames you, questions you but you can't question them, gaslights you, ridicules you, you are being invited to love yourself unconditionally. Our environment mirrors how we feel about ourselves. When you love yourself unconditionally, you will attract others that will also love you unconditionally. After all, we teach others how to treat us. We have to treat ourselves right first. Our family members can be our greatest teachers just as we can be theirs. Feeling uncomfortable is a sign from your intuition through your body that you are out of alignment with your best self. Alignment comes when you love yourself unconditionally. If you are one of the ones that has felt compelled to walk away from a toxic family, you have been blessed. You have been blessed with a desire for a deeper, more meaningful, purposeful life. You have been blessed with curiosity, drive, and intuition. You also have the courage and strength to just do it. Get straight with your core beliefs and values. Get to know yourself. See where you have unhealed childhood wounds. Examine the patterns of what you are manifesting in your life. Develop habits that serve instead of sabotage you. Learn how to meet your own needs. And above all, practice self-love. Monitor what you attract and adjust accordingly. If you are attracting individuals who do not love you unconditionally, determine where you have been less than self-loving in your life. Look at the emotions and assess the thoughts that resulted in the emotions. Did the thought sabotage or serve you? Keep going through your thoughts until you identify the false or limiting belief that you have that invites that thought in the first place. Change that belief to one that serves you instead of sabotages you. This monitoring is imperative, especially when we have been gaslit or taken advantage of our entire life. Retrain your thinking, know that you left that situation for a reason, and focus your attention on what you know is in your best interest. After all, you have great clarity on what is not in your best interest after growing up in a toxic family. Your family lacks this clarity. It is okay to leave them behind. Many of us have limiting beliefs that family is all we have. Blood is thicker than water. We have to stick by our family. No, family is whoever you choose to label as such. Balance your judgment so that it is used for your highest good to discern how and with whom you share yourself with. This is the epitome of self-love. When you truly love yourself and others unconditionally, you will feel blessed. Without the contrast from your family, the experience would not be nearly as meaningful. You can thank them in your heart for showing you everything you didn't want and for pushing you in the direction of being independent instead of codependent. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Modern Life Keeping with Lori Christine, brought to you by Kira Kisses. When you love yourself unconditionally, you won't accept conditional love from others. Break the patterns of codependency that leave you stuck in families or situations that limit you. Go be your authentic, beautiful self. For more information on my individual and parenting support groups, retreats, and services, visit Kira, Keara, kisses.com. Thank you for listening. Until we meet again, keep wondering.